Imagine a vault where the truth of your ancestors is locked behind 3-inch steel doors. Beneath the bustling streets of Rome or the quiet corridors of London, history is not a record but a secret. These are the archives where the ink of the past meets the politics of the present. The world you think you know is a carefully curated gallery. Behind the velvet ropes and the polished glass of museums lies a darker reality of heavy padlocks and armed guards. You walk through your city, believing your history is written in the textbooks you read as a child. Yet, deep beneath the earth, in climate-controlled chambers, thousands of years of human experience remain hidden from your eyes. These are not just dusty papers or crumbling scrolls. They are the keys to understanding why your nation exists, how your borders were drawn, and who truly held the pen of power during the turning points of human civilization. The governance of ancient manuscripts is not about preservation alone. It is a calculated exercise in international information politics. When a state or an institution hides a document, they are not just protecting a physical object. They are controlling the very narrative of your existence. You must realize that history is the most potent weapon in the arsenal of any government. If they can control what you remember, they can control how you behave. Consider the Vatican Apostolic Archive. For centuries it bore the name Secret Archive. Within its 85 kilometers of shelving, the whispers of popes and the pleas of kings are preserved in silence. You might imagine the trials of the Knights Templar or the private correspondence of Mary Queen of Scots. But the real power lies in the documents that challenge the established order of history. Why does it take 75 years for a single pontificate's records to be open? Why are certain scholars granted entry, while others are met with a cold, polite refusal? This is the gatekeeping of the soul of history. The air in these vaults is thick with the scent of ozone and ancient parchment. Every step you take echoes against the stone walls, reminding you of the 5 centuries of silence that have guarded these secrets. This is not a library for the curious, it is a fortress for the powerful. Across the ocean, the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office held what was known as the Migrated Archives. As the sun set on the British Empire, thousands of files were spirited away from former colonies. They were burned in massive bonfires or hidden in a high-security facility at Hounslow Park. This was Operation Legacy. They did not want you to see the reality of the transition of power. They did not want the newly independent nations to possess the evidence of their own struggle. By removing these documents, they effectively erased the memory of millions. Every time a document is withheld, a hole is torn in the fabric of human knowledge. This is what scholars call an epistemological crisis. You are forced to build your identity on a foundation of missing bricks. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with 1,000 pieces, but 300 of them are locked in a safe you cannot open. You might see the general picture, but the crucial details, the faces in the crowd, and the true motives of the players remain invisible. This creates a collective consciousness that is fragile and easily manipulated. When the state holds the monopoly on the past, they hold the monopoly on your future. You see the world through a lens that has been polished by the very people who wish to stay in control. This is the ultimate form of soft power. It is the ability to define what is true and what is forgotten. The psychological impact on you is profound. When you are denied access to your own heritage, you feel a sense of disconnection. You are a passenger in a vehicle driven by ghosts. The manuscripts kept out of circulation often contain the voices of the marginalized, the rebels, and the visionaries who were silenced in their own time. By keeping these texts in the shadows, the modern world continues that act of silencing. It is a persistent trauma that affects how you perceive justice and truth. If the evidence of a crime committed 500 years ago is still classified, the crime is still being committed today. The ink may be dry, but the blood it represents is still warm in the collective memory of the oppressed. The governance systems surrounding these archives are intricate webs of legal loopholes and bureaucratic layers. They use the excuse of national security or the fragility of the parchment to keep the doors barred. But in an age where a single flash of light can digitize 1,000 pages, these excuses are wearing thin. This technology has made a tremendous leap at an astonishing speed, yet the gates remain shut. The struggle for the decolonization of information is the great intellectual battle of your time. You must ask yourself why certain truths are considered too dangerous for the public to handle. Is it the stability of the world they are protecting? Or is it the reputations of the powerful? The digital revolution promised a democratization of knowledge, yet we see the rise of digital walls that are just as impenetrable as the stone ones of the past. International information politics is the chess game where your heritage is the pawn. Countries negotiated return of manuscripts, not as a matter of justice, but as a diplomatic tool. They trade your history for trade deals. They swap your ancestors' wisdom for political alliances. This is the dark implication of the closed archive. It transforms history into a commodity and truth into a privilege. When you are told that you are not ready to see a document, you are being told that you are not a full citizen of your own timeline. The missing texts hold the power to re-evaluate the Crusades, the expansion of empires, and the origins of global conflicts. Without them, you are reading a script written by the victors. The impact on your contemporary consciousness is a lingering sense of doubt. You know that something is missing. You feel the weight of the secrets every time you look at a map or read a treaty. This doubt is the crack through which the light of inquiry must shine. You have the right to know the full story of the human race. You have the right to touch the original ink of your own story. The archives are calling to you from the silence of their vaults. They hold the secrets of your bloodline and the reality of the world you inhabit. To seek the truth is to demand the key to these closed rooms. History is not a finished book. It is a living, breathing struggle for clarity. As you reflect on the hidden ink and the silent scrolls, remember that your voice is the only thing that can break the seal. This journey through the shadows of the past is only beginning, and your curiosity is the flame that keeps the truth alive. If you feel the weight of these hidden secrets, join me in this mission by subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell to ensure you never miss a revelation. Share your thoughts in the comments below about which hidden archive you believe holds the most world-changing secret. Your engagement is the light that pierces the darkness of the closed archive. Stand with me as we demand that the past be returned to the people to whom it belongs. Let us turn the pages together and write a future built on the foundation of the whole truth. Your awareness is the first step toward opening the doors that have been shut for far too long. Thank you for seeking the truth with me today, and for being a part of this global effort to reclaim our shared human memory. Together, we will ensure that no document remains in the dark and no voice remains unheard in the halls of history.